Alright guys, what's up? I'm back. Finally, some new gear here. The Kemper at long last. I finally got it. I've actually had it for about a month and a half now, and the reason I've waited so long to do a video is because I really wanted to figure out what all this thing can do. What it can't do, what it's good at, what it's not so good at. Just basically so I can have a really nice complete review here. Probably will go into another video when I go in depth, but this one is just going to kind of touch on the basics of what all I like about it and what all it can do. If you're not familiar with it, basically what the Kemper does is it listens to an amplifier and creates a thumbprint of the sound. And if you want to create your own profile, you have to have a amp, a cabinet, and a microphone, and that's pretty much it. And I'll show you after the video exactly what all I've done to capture the profile, because I'm using more than one microphone on the cabinet, and there's a little trick you have to go through to actually get the Kemper to listen to more than one mic. But anyways, what we have today is the Nitro's profile, one of several I created for it actually, and this one was done with the Eden Analog Austin Overdrive boosting it, and that's my favorite pedal to boost the Nitro with, so that's what this profile is all about. And in the intro, that's what you heard. So I'm going to go through it real quick here. This is bone dry. The reverb and delay are both off. I do have the EQ tweaked just a little bit, just a touch on the top end. Mid-range just a hair pulled back, not even quite a decibel on 160 and 80 hertz. So really pretty much exactly how it came out when it was profiled, and I didn't mess with any of the amplifier settings, and I'll show you those in a minute here. So anyways, this is what the basic bone dry profile that I've created sounds like. And got a little reverb here, and it's a true stereo reverb, assuming that you have both of the outputs connected to your input device, which I do. So this is the reverb. And I like the way they included quick adjustments for the time and mix of the reverb. You don't actually have to go into the reverb settings to change it on the fly. But to change it, you can hold it down and it pulls up. There's two different pages of parameters. You have your mix, your delay and reverb balance, depending on how much of each you want in your sound. You have the time, the amount of damping, the pre-delay, the bandwidth, frequency, and the effects volume. So I've got it set up for kind of a medium large size room, and I'll go ahead and drop the room size down a little bit, raise the mix up just a little bit so you can hear exactly what else is going on. Raise it up. A little bit of pre-delay. Alright, and the delay. And again, for the delay, they have the amount of feedback in the mix right there, so you can adjust it quickly on the fly. But for our purposes, we'll go into it in depth here. Page 1, you got mix, clock left, clock right, which basically dictates how quickly each slapback happens on each side. Feedback, bandwidth, center frequency, the amount of modulation, and the effects volume. So, feedback. And if you'll notice, this is the tap tempo up here, so if you want to adjust the speed on the fly, you can do that instead of actually fiddling with the clock left and clock right speeds. Let's go back and grab that reverb down a little bit. Alright, so that is the delay, and I'll turn that off for now. And we also have the modulation, which I have set up as a vintage chorus. And it's a little something like this. Actually, now's a good time to show you the gain. It kind of guesses what the Nitro would sound like if the gain were all the way down, so it's just a clean sound. So while we're showing off the chorus, I'll go ahead and show that off also. So this is zero gain, basically clean. It doesn't exactly sound like what the Nitro sounds like when it's clean, but it's a close enough approximation that if I needed to back the gain down just to get a really quick clean sound, it's good enough. So this is what it sounds like. And of course you have your rate, depth, crossover, stereo, the mix, and the effects volume. And I don't like a really wobbly sounding chorus, so I have the rate down, but I do have the depth all the way up, so it's nice and deep and kind of shimmery, as long as I keep the rate down. So that's what I have it set for. That's kind of how I like my chorus to sound. Kind of like a Alice in Chains or Rooster type chorusy sound. A little delay back in there. A little bit more reverb in there. Alright, so that's the basics in a nutshell. Real quick, I'll also show you something cool. Get the gain back up. If you go in the amplifier settings, it has the definition, power sagging, pick attack, and compressor, as well as the clarity, tube shape, and tube bias settings. And one thing I've found that you can really alter the sound with this thing is if you change these up a little bit. Turn the chorus back off. If I back the definition way down, if you're reading the manual, it's sort of, well, I'll show you what it sounds like all the way up real quick. It kind of takes away a little bit of the edge to the sound. A little bit of the top end gets rolled off too. Back the reverb back a little bit. And if I raise the power sagging up, it'll kind of thicken the sound up and make it a little bit more of a muted attack. Back the gain down, start getting into some classic rock type stuff. I raise the treble and presence up a little bit to kind of bring back a little bit of the sparkle to the sound. The pick attack kind of adds a little bit of a quick little edge to the sound, and it doesn't really sound all that great if you get it up really high. It kind of sounds like a weird, messed up compressor. Speaking of compressor, add a little bit in there. Go in here. Let's see. Raise the tube bass up. Alright, and I also have over here set up the tube screamer, or the green screamer as it's called. And I've got the drive all the way down. Tone is at 0, which I guess is kind of in the middle. And the volume is at +5, so this is what it does with it off, kind of what you just heard. And boosted. Yeah, 5 is all the way up on the volume, so it's basically just like a clean setup, like a clean boost. And if I raise the gain, lower the gain on the amp, excuse me, down to about 2.5 or so. Raise the tube bias up. Power sagging's back all the way, or now all the way up. Definition is way down. Alright, go all the way back. To where it was stock. I think I've changed everything back. I probably didn't, but I think I did. Alright, so that is kind of what all it can do. Just the basics, of course. I'll tell you what, before I finish, I'll go ahead and show you a profile that I did of the... So I did one with the Klon boost also. Got some of the Mako Plex, but I want to redo those because I've got some new speakers in my cabinet. The Jet City 100H Clean. I really like the way this one came out. And of course, let's see. Oh yeah, another fun one I'll show you guys in a second. Did a Nitro profile where I hooked up the variac and dropped it down to 80 volts. I was thinking I'd made one of the crunch channel cranked on the Jet City 100. I did. That's which one it is. And of course the lead channel on the JCA. And I'll probably end up doing new profiles for the Jet City just because of the new speakers. They're scumbags, and I really love them, so I'll probably do new profiles of the Jet City in addition to the Mac 4. So anyways, before I finish, it's a Nitro 80 volt sag. And of course I'll probably do that one also, redo that one also, just because that was done with the Vintage 30 and the K100. So anyways, let's see, what else did I forget? Tuner, that's not exciting. Noise gate, boring. Probably saw the, well, EQ, figure that out. Cabinet settings, I really don't like changing any of these. They make it sound weird. I'm sure it has its purpose in some applications, but I don't like what it does, at least to the profiles that I've made. So that about wraps up this demo, and I will hopefully create some more videos once I get some new profiles up. I do have some of these already up on the Kemper website. You can just search for my username, which is the same one as my YouTube channel and all my forums. So yeah, you can check them out if you've already got a Kemper. Go play with them and see what you think. I did them all using the Les Paul, so it's a little bit on the darker side. If you've got like a Strat or a Tele or something like that, you'll probably have to back the presence and treble down a little bit or mess with the EQ. Oh yeah, before I forget, I'll show you how I used more than one microphone. Now the Kemper on the back of it has one microphone input. Let's see. Right there, the return input. And instead of sending one microphone into it, what I've done is I'm sending a cable, you can see there. It's actually coming from a mixer that I bought. And what this lets me do is send all of my mics into the mixer, and then I'll kind of listen to how that sounds and play with the microphone settings and adjust the level of each microphone until I like the way it sounds. And once I do, I just run the output from the headphone output into the back of the Kemper. And the Kemper only takes a mono signal, so it really doesn't matter about trying to send it left and right to preserve any kind of panning that you're doing with the microphones. Just leave all the mics panned in the center. Unless it sounds good for whatever reason, panned to the side. But I just have all my mics panned to the center. And so yeah, that's how I accomplished getting more than one microphone sound into the Kemper, and it sounds way better with a few different mics really blended together, so kind of fills out the sound a little bit more. So if you've got a Kemper and you've got more than one microphone and, you know, a couple $100 to go spend on, you know, inexpensive 4-channel mixer or whatever. Alright, so thanks for checking out the video, and I'll probably throw up a few more once I get some new profiles created. Check out the ones on the website. In the meantime, I'll hopefully have this newest Nitro profile with the Austin boost. I hopefully will have that one up here by the time this video is uploaded, or shortly thereafter. I've got to dig around and find the thumb drive to get it onto the computer. So yeah, look for that, and hopefully look for more videos sometime in the near future, and I'll see you guys later.